Hi, I'm Lindsay, host of the Live Like Eden podcast. What do you do when your whole life flips upside down? Are you questioning everything, lost in chaos, or yearning for life's deeper meaning? I've been there, deep in the thick of it, unraveling my own awakening mess for over 20 years. Now I'm here to help you through yours. I share no-nonsense weekly wake-ups, cutting through the ego's illusions to wake you up to your own spiritual wisdom. No mountaintop bliss needed here, just practical tools, insights, and real-life experience to save you time. Plus, a much-needed laugh when we're all losing it. Let's dive into this fresh new episode. Welcome back to another episode. I hope you all are doing well. Today, it's Christmas Eve, and I want to wish each and every one of you a very Merry Christmas. For those of you that celebrate the holiday, I hope you have a wonderful day prepping for tomorrow, the big day, right? The big reveal. All the effort and the buying of gifts, whatever you do to celebrate, and the immense wrapping that goes on. And then in 2 seconds, it's over like a wedding, right? So wherever you are in the world, if this is your holiday, Merry Christmas to you. I hope you enjoy, celebrate, laugh, and just have a wonderful time with whomever you're with. I may have shared this before in a previous year, but every Christmas I send out a really funny Christmas card to my closest friends and family. And I've been doing it for probably 10 years, and each and every year I've always used my 4 kids as they were younger, and all the drama and all of the crazy things that happen inside of our house, I would use it as material, and I still do every year to write a funny card. And people laugh, and it's just funny. It lightens the mood of the holidays, right? Well, this year I decided to shift gears because my kids are older. And my husband and I are waiting for our last 2 twin daughters to graduate high school. We're only about a year and a half out. And I thought it would be a nice shift to talk about the 2 of us and how our life is starting to change. And in there, I sort of do a little bit of a holiday rant about how I'm over it. I'm over taking care of everybody and wearing 100 million hats and having everybody contact me constantly. And as Christmas comes, it's the buying and everybody wants this and I'm wrapping and I'm, oh my gosh, And this year I was joking around with a friend. It's like, let's just put the gifts out Christmas morning and we'll just bolt to Starbucks for a coffee and head for a hike and they can fend for themselves. Any of you parents out there listening know exactly what I'm talking about. And yes, I love my family, but it gets a little exhausting sometimes, right? I have to be honest. It's exhausting. It's stressful. And I always look forward to the morning of Christmas when it's all completed and I can just relax and not do anything for a few hours. So if you're listening and you feel the same way, I feel for you and I'm thinking of you. But in all seriousness, Christmas traditionally, right, is the birth of Jesus in religion. And people that are religious celebrate the birth of the man. And I would like to take this topic a little bit deeper and discuss the Christmas of this holiday and what that really means. You know, what does it mean, Christ? What does it mean to you? I like to think of it as the Christ awareness or consciousness is what we are all seeking in this life. Every single person is trying to remember the Christ within all of us, which is simply the memory of home or the memory of God or the memory of heaven or, whatever terminology works for you. I'm not sure the terminology matters. It's just whatever works for you. Remembering home, remembering our true nature. And if you think about it that way, then this time of year, we're celebrating the truth of who we are, the memory of God that we're all desperately yearning for, even though we don't really know it, because our egos love to get in the way and it wants to make everything so special, our special little identity. And Jesus was a special man, the whole thing. But what was the message of Jesus, the man? That the kingdom of heaven is within you, that the seeking we're looking for is within. This holiday, you can just think of it as I'm turning inward and I'm going to sit with it for just a moment, breathing in and breathing out and feeling the sacred, quiet, calm space within that even if it's for 1 second, is a memory of truth. Even if you only have that 1 second, it's 1 second to connect. I thought it would be appropriate and fun and practical today to do a very quick show. I know you're crazy busy. I know that it's a big stressful time of year. But if you are somebody who's serious about living spirituality, instead of talking about it, preaching it, thinking about it, studying it, reading it, and all those things are really helpful. They serve a purpose for us. They're like stepping stones of reconnecting to the Christ within us. And it's one thing to do all that theorizing, and I love philosophy and metaphysics and pondering about all the questions of the universe, but it's quite another thing to practice and embody and live spirituality. And what does that even mean? Right? What am I talking about? I thought today I would just go over a few things that you can do tomorrow at Christmas when you're surrounded by friends and family, or you're with more people than normal, or even if you're with yourself. You can still implement this with just yourself because you're always reacting to things around you, even if you're not with other people, right? So this can be implemented regardless if you're with a ton of people or no people. But because it's Christmas and a lot of people get together and celebrate, it's good practice. It gives you an opportunity to see how your mind is reacting, judging, commenting, right? I love the commentator because we all have it. The complainer, the know-it-all, all the things that go through our mind that we all share, So let's talk about some real life scenarios that could occur tomorrow when you're with your loved ones, and what you can do to implement living and practicing unconditional love, non-judgment, these qualities that we think of when we're talking about what it means to experience and live your spiritual nature. So let's say you're around your family and friends or whomever, and you're sitting there and you're having a nice, lovely conversation, and then somebody says something and you immediately feel this, right inside. You feel a gut punch, or you feel an immediate, I don't like what they just said. Right? And what does that mean? Let's look at it like this. It's a reaction from your mind, and it happens instantaneously without what? Awareness. So if there's no awareness, the mind will react immediately. I often refer to it as the reactionary mind. And this would be the ego. This is the ego's playbook. It could get a gold star for the reactionary mind because that's really what it wants you to do. Because when you react, you're not aware. You're just on autopilot. And we all do it. So I want you to think about you're with your loved one and they say something you hate and you know it, right? You immediately feel it in your body. And that's the communication. So the body takes on a communication. And if you're still in the reactionary mind and you're not aware yet, what are you going to do? Maybe you're going to snap back at the person. You're going to roll your eyes. You're going to make a face. You're going to show your disgust in some way, whether it's verbal or nonverbal. It doesn't matter. Either one, because you're still thinking it, right? And then you're creating a separation, a divide from this person that you secretly now loathe. And then your mind will tell you, this person's wrong and I'm right. Or this person doesn't know what they're talking about and they're so annoying, blah, 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 right? This is the judgment of the mind. And it happens every single day, right? So on this day of Christmas, think about how that situation could change. You can even look at a past scenario that you've experienced recently where you felt this happen. Think of that moment where somebody said something, you immediately despised it, you went into reactionary mode, maybe you started yelling, maybe you started arguing, or maybe you just non-verbally distanced yourself from that person. And then you formed the separation and the reaction was very real. And then maybe you took it on for days and days, maybe weeks, and some people, years. There's people who separate from other people purposely as a passive-aggressive action for years. Cut them off. We'll just cut them off. Now, I'm not suggesting at all that you don't have boundaries in your life with people. But I think that there's a loving approach to that, and then there's a very ego-based approach to that. And I'm talking about the ego's way of just instant reaction, cutting people off, dividing, that whole concept, which is very different than if you're setting a boundary with someone. Maybe you're saying, I love you, but I can't be around you for a while, and I need my own space. But in the back of your mind, in that, that person is no different than you, and you still see your oneness with each other, even though you're cutting off the physical contact. That's different. That's what I'm talking about when we're talking about practical spirituality, living your experience with the mystical realm. So the first thing I want you to think about when you're with your family and friends tomorrow is embrace whomever you're with, and embrace them as an opportunity for you to learn or unlearn the ego's doing. This is what you're doing. It's an exercise in life. No matter where you are, no matter how many eye rolls and how many gut punches you get, I want you to think of it differently and say, I'm going to embrace the situation I'm in, whether I love the situation or I'm not so hot on this situation, but I am going to embrace it as an opportunity to learn something, to be the student. So that's number one, okay? Embrace it. Number two, the awareness must be there. So observe, put the observer hat on, and you watch your reactionary mind. This does not mean you're going to be able to stop it. This is just an exercise in watching. You're the watcher now. Watch yourself. It's one of the most fun things to do. You're probably thinking, why is that fun? Because it's really fun when you've practiced it a while, when you get really comfortable with it. You'll see the ridiculous nature of the mind. You will start seeing things as a slight comedy act all the time. This is why I have so much material for my Christmas card. I'm not kidding. You can see everything as a play. It's like an act. So watch the situation you're in tomorrow. You're watching, you're observing. So number one, you're embracing the situation as an opportunity to learn. And number two, you're observing. Watch your reactionary mind. And just see what you do when people are talking. See how you start judging the person you're with, how you're starting to correct them in your mind. They're wrong. That's not true what they're saying. They don't know anything. They don't know what they're talking about. You get where I'm going, okay? Watch your mind and watch how quickly it reacts. Number three, so if you react, what does that really mean? If you are reacting, what are you doing? What's the ego telling you here? The ego is resisting. It's resisting the opportunity to learn something. And it's in pure resistance mode because the ego will never want you to experience the Christ within you, or the Eden, as I call this show, Live Like Eden. It's that memory of home, of God. It doesn't want you to do that, right? It's the gatekeeper. I've said that a lot. The ego is the gatekeeper to your true nature. Because the ego sees everything around you. So like you're in a situation with your loved ones and they say something you don't like. What does it feel like to you? It feels like an attack. They're attacking me. Or they're attacking something I believe in. Or they're attacking something that I hold dearly to my heart. Or they're attacking another person and I don't agree with that. Whatever the attack is, it doesn't really matter in form. But the ego sees it as an attack. So you can get really good at saying, okay, there's my reaction. I don't like what this person is saying. They're wrong. I'm right. And I feel it was an attack. And when the ego feels it's attacked, what is it going to do? What's its defense mechanism? To attack back, to protect itself. You're either going to verbally attack the person or you're going to mentally imagine that you're attacking the person, or you're going to passive aggressively distance yourself from the person and give them a message, right? Even though you're not saying anything. But it's very strategic by the ego. Even if you aren't even consciously aware of this, this is what's going on. And the ego is doing what? Separating. Separating, separating, separating. Over and over and over again. That's the cycle of life. Separation, separation. And we're trying to undo that whole thing. The Christ consciousness is trying to get us to undo all of that separation that the ego projects outward. So you've got one, you're embracing the situation you're in as an opportunity to learn. Then number two, you're observing, right? You're watching your reactionary mind. Then if the mind is reacting, it's doing what? Resisting. And it's resisting because it feels attacked. And the ego will naturally go into automatic pilot and start the whole thing. Attack back, silent treatment, or just mentally separating in your mind. You know, I had a great guest on a few weeks ago, Marcia Earhart. If any of you did not listen to her, she is really amazing. She lost two of her sons, and she now works with people and families about grieving and loss of any kind in your life. And she was somebody I talked to who I can tell immediately was living her spirituality and her faith. And she said something interesting in that interview. One of her sons was murdered. I can't even imagine what that is like. But she said that she forgave her son's killer. And she said, you know why I forgave him? Because I have murdered in my own mind. Now that is a very powerful statement she made. She murdered in her own mind. She didn't physically go out and kill anybody, but she wished him dead, which would be the ego's reaction to if somebody's killing a loved one of yours, right? Wouldn't the ego want to go kill? It wants to attack. Take care of that person. And the world will do that. There's consequences in the world. We all know that. If you do something like that, you're going to end up in prison most likely. I mean, that's just the reality of the world. And of course, nobody is condoning murder. Not at all. But what she was doing was saying, hey, I know I've murdered in my own mind and I forgive him. And I'm actually hoping he finds the Christ. I mean, she was saying that on the show. So if you haven't listened to it, she's really wonderful. The episode was just a couple weeks ago with Marcia Earhart. It was titled From Grieving to Grace, I think. You should go back and listen to it. It's really powerful. But what I'm getting at here is the mind is always doing that. It's working to separate. And when you notice that you're doing it is when you're starting to live it. And that's the key. You're noticing that this is happening. It doesn't mean that all of a sudden you're going to behaviorally change and your whole world and form is going to transform overnight. That's not typically how it happens. It takes practice. It takes work until you really start feeling this whole thing. After you've noticed the attack that the ego is doing, then the next thing you can think about is asking. Ask the question, is this about me? Does this experience I'm having with my loved one or my friend have anything to do with me? Am I taking it personally? Because if it has absolutely nothing to do with me, why am I getting so worked up about it inside my mind? I feel like this is the biggest thing that each and every one of us struggle with. It's like the mind takes everything personal, doesn't it? And if you step back with awareness and look, and you ask the question, does this really have anything to do with me? And you'll go, most often it doesn't. It's somebody else's life. It's somebody else's experience. And if you're coming from a place of ego, you're going to immediately judge their situation. Well, they shouldn't be doing it like this. I know how to fix it. I know what they need. How does anybody know what they need? Only Spirit knows what we really need. We just think we know what we need. So think about it like that. Ask, am I taking this personally? And do I need to? Very simple. You don't have to overthink it either. You can just notice, I'm taking it personally. If I'm taking it personally, then the next thing to do is say, you know what? I'm going to flip this script right now and I'm going to practice non-judgment with Spirit. Because Spirit is always seeing everything from a completely different vantage point than our ego. Totally different. And to really feel non-judgment and practice it, you have to be able to catch yourself doing it. So let's say you go through all these things I'm suggesting. You're looking at the situation, you're watching your reactionary mind. You all of a sudden notice you're in huge resistance, right? Because the mind has reacted. And now you want to attack in some way, shape, or form, whether it's physical, mental, whatever. There's an attack thought that either you act on or you passive aggressively implement. And then you ask, is it personal? Is this something I need to take on? Or does this person really just want me to listen to them? can I detach from it needing to be about me and just be there holding space for that person? Now, if you shift into holding space, you're now shifting into spirit. You're shifting into non-judgment. And this is how you do it. You shift gears. You shift who you're seeing with. Because from the place of non-judgment, it's not about us, is it? It's about the other person's needs or their complaint or their rant, or whatever they're talking about. And you can just hold space for whatever they want to say, even if you don't agree with it. And let's say you're in a heated thing over the holiday and you're having a discussion about the dreaded political talk or, whatever conversation's coming up and you don't agree. Do you have to comment at all if you don't agree? No, you don't have to say anything. If you feel the need to say something, you could say it very kindly. You could be coming from a loving place. Like, I totally respect your opinion. I think it's amazing that you have that. I just happen to see it from this vantage point. And then maybe you open a discussion that becomes, instead of yelling and fighting and, the whole divide about whatever you're talking about, whether it's politics or global issues or even a family matter, you're opening the door to see things from different points of view. And then you open that door for other people to do the same thing. You're saying, hey, I get where you're coming from. And if I believed that, if you could hop into the person's mind and understand where they're coming from, then you understand why they see it that way. That does not mean that you see it that way, but you get why they see things the way they do. It's not right or wrong. And that's a place of connection. That's a place of unity with the other person. You are seeing that we are all really the same underneath our thoughts, opinions, and points of view. So you shift out of reacting. You recognize that the ego's attacking, right? You ask, am I taking it personally? And if you feel that you're taking it personally, you shift gears into non-judgment with spirit and say, can I just be the space holder for this person that needs to share? Do I even have to comment? Do I need to do anything? And when you give yourself up to spirit and ask these questions, you open the door to be guided. You're opening the door to guidance. You're allowing spirit to lead the way instead of the ego to dominate. And eventually, as you keep doing this, you will feel it. You'll feel when you're doing it because you know immediately the reaction of the ego. It's like right away, boom. It's not subtle. The ego's not really subtle at all. It's very bold. Spirit's just sitting there, holding space. And when you can tap into that, you're now connected to that ethereal realm. And you begin to undo or unlearn the ego's system. And you can do this every single day of your life. And you might say, I'm not doing that every day. I cannot do that every moment of every day. You don't have to. You don't have to do it at all if you don't want to. But for those of you that are interested in trying to find more peace, more calm in your life, where you don't react to everything in the world, then you're ready. You're ready to practice. You're ready to take the thoughts and the belief system and your concepts of spirituality and live them. It's when you live like Eden. There's a very deep symbol in the title of this show. And that is what I'm getting at. Always trying to pull us back to remember who we truly are, even in the thick of it. Even when life sucks, right? Even when shit hits the fan in the world like it does over and over and over again, you can have these tools. And they're simple. And you can do them anytime. And why not start on Christmas? Why not use this symbol of Christ, the Christmas, in all of us? And try it. What do you have to lose, really? Nothing's going to happen. All that's going to happen is you go, oh, wow, I didn't realize how much I constantly react to what everyone around me is saying. And that can be a huge eye-opener. Like, wow. And not only that, if you're not around a lot of people, do it with yourself. How much are you constantly talking about yourself, commenting on yourself, self-sabotage, worry, all the things we do internally? If you're by yourself, I say you almost have a better opportunity to see yourself clearly because you notice what you do behind the scenes. when you have people in front of you, it's easy to get distracted with the outside world. And then you don't think about yourself or what you're doing. You're projecting onto them. But when you're alone with your thoughts, I think you have a really great opportunity. We all do. I remember spending some time many years ago kind of isolated from the world when I was going through this massive shift in consciousness. And I spent so much time alone and in quiet. And I really got to see the ego up close and personal. And I think that look at that as an opportunity and use the time you have with other people on this holiday as a fabulous time to check in and see how close are you to feeling peace and how much are you separating yourself from everyone around you. And the beautiful thing is you can do this all on your own. It's an inward study. It's just like multitasking. You can do it anytime you want. You don't have to say anything about it. What it does for you is it brings you closer to peace, to feeling unconditional love for everything around you, which may not happen right away. When you're doing the practice of it and you're just noticing how you're reacting all the time and the judgments that are coming, you may not feel that real deep unconditional love yet. But practicing those things will lead you to love. It will lead you to see that all of us are exactly the same. It's just the form that we are playing out in a body and what we're doing in the world appears different. But underneath it all, we're all the same. We're all the same separated mind that we think we are, and we all have that answer of spirit, the Christ within, to remember home. So having said all that, the takeaways from today's show: 1, embrace whomever you're with as an opportunity to learn or unlearn, right? The ego. Number 2, observe or watch your reactionary mind. Number 3, if you react, it's resistance, right? And it's resistance from the ego, which is going to come out as an attack, whether it's an attack thought, a physical attack, or a passive-aggressive act to separate. That's what resistance really means, to separate. Number 4, ask, is this about you? Is it personal? Do I have to take this on? And if you don't, you shift the ego's plan right here and you go into spirit with non-judgment of all the people around you. You don't know what they need. You don't know what's best for them. Only spirit knows what's best for any of us. And then you're able to hold space for someone else and truly be there. And you start bridging the gap of separation. Now you create the bridge and you slowly start remembering and returning home to peace. So I hope all of that can help you tomorrow. And not just tomorrow. For those of you that end up listening to this later, you can do it anytime you wish. And it's just like your little pocketbook of tools, right, in your mind. And the best part about all of this is the world is so crazy and so insane most of the time that you're always going to get practice. That's what this dual world is. It's one big practice. And it's a practice for you to remember who you truly are. So have a wonderful, wonderful Christmas, everybody. And I will be back with you next week. That's it for today's show. Thanks so much for listening. If it resonated, please share, follow, and drop a review with your takeaways. It really means a lot. Visit my website at livelikeeden.com to subscribe for weekly reminders and blogs, or sign up for a free 30-minute consult to explore one-on-one guidance sessions if you're really struggling in Awakening's darkness. Take my Awakening quiz to get a personal podcast playlist that meets you exactly where you're at. See you next week for another deep dive.